Feeling like your first game coming up here? You starting to get some jitters at all? First game here?
Being on your second time going through this is probably not as much as I was, at Toledo. But I want these players to know how much the importance is of practicing well on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And that's what I challenged with them at the end of practice. I thought we had a good practice today, but I want to take it to another level. So we need to have great practices on Wednesday.
Do you have a plan in terms of, so you talk about depth,
Right.
you're concerned about depth, and then what is your plan in terms of substitution?
There will be a set plan. Our coaching staff is thinking of that, and determining that right now. That's a Thursday work that we practice so that our players understand how we are going to substitute and how we're going to keep people fresh. But my firm belief, and as being a defensive coordinator and at the different places I was and being a head football coach, is the only way a player is going to get better is by playing in a game. And we're going to have to give those experiences to our players that are 2s and 3s.
Talk a little bit more about Western Michigan's offense. I know you've been studying it all week. Tell me the strengths.
All summer. I mean, it's been, Coach Cuba does a great job with their offense, and they've got a quarterback in Alex Carter who's, in my opinion, can play anywhere. I mean, he's got a tremendous arm. He's a hard-nosed young man. He's not going to run out of bounds. He's going to try to run you over. He's proven that he's won a lot of football games for the Broncos. So they've got a few areas that they've got to shore up at wide receiver because they've lost a couple great ones last year. But I'm sure that they have those type of players. So you remember the football game last year. They've competed in every game that they've played in and had chances to win. So we're going to have to be focused and ready and playing our A game, as I said.
You saw them with the 66-63 game, right? That was kind of wild. So you've seen firsthand what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, that game was really their breakout game of going empty and not playing very many backs at all. Sometimes there wasn't even a back in the football game, and that's where the throwing of the football was even more than what they had done previous. So they have a great scheme. He does a great job. Coach Cuba does a great job of getting his players prepared. I think both offensively and defensively and in special teams.
The freshman linebackers, Mike and Mason, if something were to happen, I mean, how confident would you guys be?
They got it. I mean, they have to play. I mean, they've got to step in and be ready to play.
Is there something, Cooper, is he okay, or is he just not living up to expectations?
No, he's doing all right. He'll be able to. I'm going to sit him for the first quarter for a discipline issue that I have, but he'll be able to play in the second quarter.
What's the vibe you're getting from the players, their energy level and their preparation?
I think they're excited about hitting somebody else. There's no question about that. We had the 2-minute competition there at the end of the practice today, and we will always end Wednesday's practices with a competition one-on-one, ones versus ones, 2-minute. This is how much time you got. Putting them in different scenarios, and they were eager. There's no question. I think they're ready, and as I've told them, it's their opportunity. This senior class's opportunity to make their mark for the 2012 football season, and you've got to win your first before you can ever win any other. So you got to go out there and compete for 4 quarters. I think they're ready.
You ready for an onside kickoff?
Ready for anything. I mean, he's done that. They're a very.
I didn't know Purdue did it twice against them.
Yeah, Purdue's done it. We've practiced everything. I mean, against it and for it. So, we want to be able to put our players in the best situation they can be to be successful.
If it happens, just from my knowledge, how do you teach players not to hit a guy on a bouncing ball? Is it right, the first bounce of an onside kick, you cannot hit the receiver? Exactly.
It's got to hit twice. And we're just going to go for the ball. I mean, that's where we're sending everybody to the football. And, they're not going to be able to see it hit the second time, or we have to, know that our kicker's going to hit, that ball's going to hit twice. But we're all going for the football. So on an onside kick, if that came about, and if it was a surprise or whatever, our kickers are capable of making sure that thing hits the second time so that our players can run and recover the football.
As a head coach, what's kind of your routine, 24, 48 hours before the game, and you're going to change that up from what you've done previously? Yeah, here.
48 hours is huge, and that's what, we're not to that point yet, we're almost to what, 72, pretty darn close. But the 48 hours is huge for this football team. I'm a firm believer in that you can get a lot accomplished in the last 48 hours. It doesn't have to be all physical. It needs to be a lot of mental. And those are one of the things that I've challenged this football team. They'll hear about it tomorrow, even more about it. But the focus that we need to have for those 48 hours wins games.
Do you get any sleep before games?
I don't sleep much anyway. I just don't unless I'm taking a NyQuil or whatever to sleep. But I'm sure that I probably won't be sleeping much. My folks are coming in tomorrow, and I'll see them a little bit. But it'll be probably a little bit of nerves. I do get butterflies, as they say.
Do you think maybe, I keep going back to this, your first game here, you thinking a little bit more than a typical game, maybe?
Sure. I mean, this is a dream come true for us, and I'm sure it is for this coaching staff. I mean, we're excited about being here. We're excited about seeing what our players can do after being with them for 8 months, and to see how far we've become, how far we've come since spring football, and to see how they respond to adversity and to success.
Do you take the weather into account at all?
Oh yeah, we've definitely looked at some of that stuff. With the hurricane coming up here, especially in the kicking game. I've been in Northwest Ohio, which is a lot like this central Illinois. We get tremendous winds. So I've been in those situations at Blowing Green. That's what we used to call it instead of Bowling Green in Toledo. So we'll be ready and talked a lot about the wind.